Welcome to US Daily News Channel. Eastern Europe is a difficult neighborhood, especially if its neighbor is an aggressive country like the Russian Federation. Ukrainians, Poles, Czechs, and the Baltic states have struggled for centuries against the imperial domination of their larger neighbors. The latest manifestation of this unfortunate phenomenon is, of course, Russia's attempt to re-establish its dominance over Ukraine, which it enjoyed during the Tsarist and Soviet periods. Fearing these imperial ambitions, Poland and the Baltic states have provided decisive military and diplomatic support to Ukraine over the past month. Another country that received less attention was the Czech Republic, but the very serious military and humanitarian aid it has recently given to Ukraine has come to the fore with its initial support. It is also stated that there are hundreds of Czech volunteers fighting in Ukraine, and just this week the Czech Republic expelled all Russian diplomats on the grounds of spying. At the end of the first month, the Russian occupation of Ukraine slowed down as a result of serious losses and supply shortages, and most importantly, the strong resistance of the Ukrainian armed forces. This led to the withdrawal and regrouping of most of the Russian troops. This is a new line of defense and an opportunity to recover for Ukraine. But Ukraine needs more defensive weapons. Here, in the second month of the crisis, the first step came from the United Kingdom, while the second big step came from the Czech Republic. In addition, the second blow came from the Czech Republic. While Russia had not yet recovered from the shock of shooting down a Russian Mi-28N attack helicopter in Ukraine, the UK's most advanced short-medium-range air defense system Starstreak. While the Czech Republic officially renewed its strategic dialogue with the United States this week, they also approved today the transfer of all PBV 501 tracked armored infantry vehicles in their possession to Ukraine. This support has left its mark on the agenda, and Russia is worried under the fact that it will again hunt with its own production. The Ukrainian government continues to call for additional military aid to various countries to help keep Russian forces at bay, and perhaps pushes them further back. Just today, German authorities announced that they have approved the planned transfer of 56 PBV 501 infantry fighting vehicles from the Czech Republic to Ukraine, with upgraded ex-East German BMP-1s. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, along with other officials in his country, is publicly demanding more tanks and other heavily armored vehicles, as well as ship and anti-aircraft missiles and other weapons and equipment to continue the resistance against the Russian invasion. The German government's approval for the transfer of 56 PBV 501 to Ukraine reportedly came after an earlier request by Czech authorities was rejected. The Federal Security Council has approved a new shipment of ammunition to the Ukrainian army. As a result, Ukraine will receive 56 infantry fighting vehicles from the stocks of the National People's Army of the German Democratic Republic. Germany approved the delivery of extra weapons to the Ukrainian army. According to sources, it was German Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht who gave the approval. The order covers 58 infantry fighting vehicles that previously belonged to the National People's Army of the GDR. A Czech company owns armored personnel carriers and wants to sell them to Ukraine. Germany's basic approval was finally achieved. PBV 501 armored personnel carriers were supplied as standard to the Warsaw Pact Army and were equipped with cannons and machine guns. With the reunification of Germany, the tanks were transferred to the Bundeswehr and then to the Swedish Army in the late 1990s. The need for authorities in Germany to ratify the treaty is a product of the original sale to Sweden of these Soviet-era vehicles, inherited from the defunct East German Army. The Swedish government later sold them to the Czech Republic. There are reports that these need some degree of refurbishment before returning to service. Even before they were sold to Sweden, the German military had made changes to these Soviet-supplied BMP-1s to bring them to Western safety standards, redesigning them BMP-1A1 Osts in the process. The BMP-1 is an amphibious tracked infantry fighting vehicle developed by the Soviet Union. It is an abbreviation of Boyovaya Mashina Piehoti-1, which means First Serial Model Infantry Fighting Vehicle. The BMP-1 was the Soviet Union's first mass-produced infantry fighting vehicle. Until his real name was discovered, NATO called it M1967, BMP, and BMP-76PB. The first versions of the BMP-1 entered Soviet service in 1966. German modifications included, most notably, modifications to prevent the filling of fuel tanks located in the doors at the rear of the troop compartment. The Swedish military, which called these vehicles PBV 501, put them through another upgrade program after purchasing them. This included changes to the engine and drivetrain, and removal of asbestos from the interior of the vehicle and other improvements. The PBV-501s retain the BMP-1's original turret with a 73mm 2A28 cannon and a coaxial 7.62mm PKT machine gun. However, a guided anti-tank missile launch system originally integrated into the turret was removed from these vehicles as part of various upgrade programs. The Ukrainian Army and the Russian Army continue to use the BMP-1 series vehicles. Therefore, it should be relatively easy to integrate these additional examples into their own strengths. If there are any problems getting any of these back up and running, they can still be serious as useful spare parts resources. These vehicles could be a boon for Ukrainian forces, who have already lost some of their current stockpile of BMP-1s in the war against the Russian invaders. Meanwhile, joint statement from the U.S.-Czech Republic Strategic Dialogue. The statement was released by the U.S. Department of State. The governments of the Czech Republic and the United States renewed the U.S.-Czech Republic Strategic Dialogue in Prague on March 30, 2022, with delegations led by Czech Deputy Foreign Minister Martin Pavesil and U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs Karen Donfried. In conjunction with the Strategic Dialogue, Assistant Secretary Donfried also met with Foreign Minister Jan Lipovsky. The United States and the Czech Republic have a historic friendship based on common democratic values and an appreciation of our shared responsibility to uphold the rules-based international order in cooperation with our allies and partners. This strategic dialogue comes at a critical time. It demonstrates the strength and importance of the bilateral relationship as the United States and the Czech Republic focus on the security challenges on the eastern flank of NATO due to the Russian Federation's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. We underline our commitment to protect and defend every inch of NATO territory. The Czech Republic has renewed its commitment to increase its defense spending to 2% of GDP. A faster pace of modernization of the Czech armed forces is a priority, gaining new capabilities in cooperation with the United States and other allies. We stand strong and united in support of the people of Ukraine and the Ukrainian government against Russia's unprovoked war, which is causing immense human suffering and destruction of civilian infrastructure. We call on Russia to cease its military offensive and completely withdraw its armed forces from the territories of Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia and to respect their sovereignty and internationally recognized borders. Beijing's position on Russia's war also remains under our close scrutiny. The United States and the Czech Republic agree that the international community must deepen Russia's political and economic isolation and apply tougher sanctions against enablers of Russia's aggression. The discussion of Ukraine's post-war recovery must begin now. We must endeavor to provide Ukraine the political and practical assistance to support and realize its sovereign choice of full integration with Europe and the world's democracies. The United States and the Czech Republic emphasized the importance of the U.S.-Czech partnership in addressing common threats and challenges, including in the area of cybersecurity and resilience to hybrid threats. The strategic dialogue focused on reaffirming the strong, steady, and deepening bilateral cooperation between the United States and the Czech Republic and our joint commitment to enhance cooperation on a broad range of topics, including closer cooperation with partners in the Indo-Pacific region. We also affirm our commitment to deepen support and cooperation with democratic partners in the region and around the world, such as Taiwan. We agree current geopolitical developments make enhancing energy security more urgent than ever. The United States and the Czech Republic are taking steps to reduce reliance on Russian oil, natural gas, and nuclear fuel by diversifying sources of energy, expanding our already strong cooperation on nuclear power, and reducing consumption in line with our shared climate goals. The United States and the Czech Republic consulted on the importance of strengthening transatlantic relations, including cooperation between the United States and the EU, during the Czech Republic's presidency of the Council of the European Union in the second half of 2022. Both sides expressed a strong interest in deepening the bilateral strategic partnership in the year ahead and through future strategic dialogues. The parties plan to hold the next annual meeting in Washington in 2023.